Game 6 against the Houston, right? And then like you buy that.
You own the moment?
And you own his moment? Like that makes no sense to me.
I think he owns the moment.
He owns the moment, man. Or Russell owns the moment. You know, like, it's one of those things, you know?
So you should have as much fun with this as you
right,
want. Do whatever you want. Do whatever.
Seeing it up close, I
Oh
see
my
a few
gosh.
fun things we can go before we. And then so the end result is going to be what we're used to, right?
Exactly.
Back in the day. So that was I remember that pretty fairly.
You know, it was basically like I could style it on the top a little bit, and so I can't see like scalp on the side. You know, I just like the hair being full and stuff.
Awesome. So how long has it been?
447 days.
Oh!
447 days.
Wow.
Am I counting? So you know, like I remember I looked back at my calendar, and I was going to spring training, and we were doing all the photo shoot stuff, and I remember I was like, I want to time it out to be like 2-3 weeks ahead, and it was great. All the photos I used for like social and stuff are all from that haircut. And then so
we missed out on spring training this year. This last year, of course. You know, a lot of people did. So last year we only seen one in before this game started.
Yeah, that was baseball, and I've been to 8 or 10 games, and I'll tell you what. It's certainly not full, right?
Yeah, no, totally not.
Just to have people back feels half normal.
Yeah, totally. So, what's filming been like lately? Are you still at the studio? Or
yeah, we're in the studio, and we're crazy busy because basketball and hockey and 2 baseball teams, and 2 basketball teams, so five teams for us going right now. So it makes for some pretty busy days. Like our studio, we have 2 studios, and they pretty much do 2 games each day, each one of them. So, it's been started back up in January when hockey started, and then once baseball got going, it really got crazy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's been up and down here, you know, with opening up, closing down.
Man, I've
3 weeks, 1 week, you know.
The whole time, man.
It was crazy, you know.
Yeah.
We were able to get something done, though, you know, on the ground.
You know what?
But
I know you guys here have such a loyal following.
Yeah.
And I was hoping like that would be the only thing that mattered in the end, you know.
Yep.
And not.
It really did.
And not, obstacles of rent and.
Yeah.
And everybody's got to eat and live and take care of themselves for a long period of time.
You know, it was so great. We had all of our Loma Linda people and clients. They would, I would wake up to Venmos one morning.
Yeah, that's
awesome. It'd be like a $50 bill, a $100 bill, you know, on my Venmo. And then people would ask me, can I help you out, you know? If you ask, I'm all right, but they just kick it, you know? Or they'll prepay cuts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
right. We already got, you know,
right.
You're not getting nothing free, you know? Like,
right.
Sheldon and I are always like, hey, nothing for free. Like, we all work for our stuff, you know?
It goes to show, though, that people are like, I'm coming back, you know, I'll be back.
Yeah. No, totally.
And
then,
awesome.
you know what else I saw a lot of is a lot of barbers weren't getting back to their clients. So I got a lot of new clients.
Wow. Good for you.
Because they were just not responding, you know? People who just, you know, they're probably mad, don't want to hear about nothing about hair because they can't cut hair, you know?
Yeah.
Or they don't want to get creative and do something.
It's just such an interesting time, right? Like what you can do, how much you can do.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we're gassing out of that sequence for good.
Yeah. Absolutely. June 15th supposed to be a date where we're all no more limitations per se.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's too like it's hard to come up with a date and a goal and have it hit correctly unless like 5 things work out like they're supposed to be. You know, like so it's like I don't know. I do give it to anybody who's trying to plan that out or whatever, and trying to also be like a bit conservative and rather wait a couple extra days and get it right than tell people 8 different things and.
Yeah, it's been crazy, but you know, like with the Nancy Pelosi thing going on, like we weren't really you're offended by that? Are you mad? I'm like, dude, because she did.
Okay.
I got back sooner, you know?
Getting a haircut.
Yeah, we were kind of underground, so I was like,
You know,
it's mad. It's calling the kettle calling the pot black or something, you know?
You know what's
like,
crazy is I completely forgot about that until you, like, how much has, also this, how much has happened in the last year? I mean, pandemic and all, but like every sub-story of this and that and like, oh, dude, that's crazy. I feel like the fall for me is kind of like a blur too because
for sure.
I truly wasn't working.
Yeah.
It just like on the shelf and which was weird. That was the first time in at least a dozen years that I didn't have something going on.
Well, you think, I mean, what's one thing that's guaranteed every year? Sports, right? Sports, award shows, you know?
Do you remember, like, do you kind of remember that day that everything shut down and, like, as soon as basketball shut down, I was like, oh.
That was it. That was a marker of going, oh, this is big.
They know something.
You know that's big money, you know?
I mean, I was at
a little bit.
A restaurant a couple days before. I was at, you know.
Well, Ray Cyrus right there.
Now look at that. Oh, it already feels so much better. So much better to not have that. Dude, have you ever had like really, really long hair like that?
Since I was a kid, no.
Oh, this was awful.
Weighs down on you.
It weighs down on you, yes.
Do you get headaches?
No, but it gets hot.
It's hot.
Hard to sleep on.
Yeah.
Any like light breeze is awful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we were doing our baseball shows, a lot of them at the Coliseum the first couple weeks, and my back is to where the wind blows. So every 2 seconds, I'm like fixing my hair and. Dude, in December I bought 3 headbands. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them now, but.
Like time capsule things or something.
Oh, I guess I'll still wear it for something, but not for purpose.
Yeah, for the purpose.
Oh, but they honestly help huge in like working out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hair would be all in my face. It's just my bad joke is like next pandemic I'm just gonna shave it.
Yeah.
Get rid of it all.
Yeah.
But
a little bit more Billy Ray Cyrus there.
Oh my god. That's. You know what's a trip is like I'm used to this part, but now I'm not used to this.
Yeah.
Oh,
this is fun.
I feel like we should. I don't know what people with mullets do, but whatever they whatever they do, I should be doing it. Right
you know what's coming back is kids and their 14 to 16-year-olds are going to start perming their hair again.
Oh,
I see it coming around. You're talked about. You kind of see the trend coming.
You're calling it right now.
I'm calling it now.
The
perms are going to come back for the kids.
You know, I remember kids doing it when I grew up. Like not more adults, obviously, right? A lot more women, but even some guys. But I think even it did kind of get to kids. Yeah. Like in the 80s.
Yeah. There's a YouTube basketballer that goes off to parks and he does like. Final fives, and he's a TJ, white dude, white kid.
Yeah.
His mom perms his hair for him. Wow. You didn't know. You would think it was just long hair, like hair, until you see an episode where he perms his hair, you know?
That's
great.
Like,
oh man, kids are getting perms nowadays. That's cool, you know?
Well, dumb question. Like you probably have to maintain that pretty well, or
it's pretty permanent, you know?
Because it's a perm.
Yeah, you grow it out, but it's a chemical compound to change. You're changing it chemically, you know?
So you don't have to do much then after it's already been.
No, you just let it go. It'll settle, and as if your hair is really straight, then you'll start getting straight hair at the base, you know, because it's growing your new hair.
Yeah.
But you're changing that hair for quite a while, you know, not forever.
Yeah, it's I also didn't realize that my hair in the back was so curly, or like it's like straight, and then it hits that like that curl part.
Yep.
Wavy. That's what I was.
That's wavy. That's a good term. Yeah. It's definitely wavy. Oh, but man, those things are big now. I mean, wave and movement of hair is huge.
I guess the one thing I should have been more sensitive of is people that couldn't grow like a full head of hair anymore.
Yeah. Is this thing listening to us too?
Here I am Yeah, I know I can hear.
Yeah, some places, you know, like you were just on the verge of the length of what you can donate, you know? But
people said that.
But yeah, you were on the verge, you know. But what you had going for you is you don't color it, you don't touch anything, right?
So it was all natural.
It was on the verge. It was like a little short, a little too short to donate, but yeah.
Yeah, that would have been a good idea, but quite frankly, I barely made it to today.
I hear you. No, I hear you. Yeah, it's kind of a bit of work actually. They want you to rubber band it every 2 inches.
Oh my gosh.
Roll it in tissue paper, put it in Ziploc, send it out.
Wow.
So it's not super hard work, but it's not just like cut it off, throw it in the bag.
It comes like fresh off your hair.
Yeah, fresh off your hair. You gotta put it in ponytails and cut the ponytails out, you know?
Yeah.
I had a guy who did it one time. He had like a whole instruction manual, downloaded off what you want to do.
It's crazy though how they could make that into like a hairpiece, you know?
That is crazy. I mean, hairs are really
right,
fun, you know?
right.
You gonna plug them in, or you?
Well, and plus, like, to make something that'll last, you know, somebody can wear. It's not like a delicate item. It's gonna have to be worn and slept on, maybe. And
Family's doing good though.
yeah,
I know you locked it down pretty tight. Did you have high risks?
yeah. There
Mom-in-law or something?
was a lot of stuff like that for us. So, and fortunately, all of last baseball season, I did 60 games from the home studio, which I gotta tell you, it was cool. It was trippy.
Yeah.
It was maybe a look at the future of like broadcasting that you don't always have to be in a studio, but the weirdest thing would be like it'd be kind of like your mind is at work, and then all of a sudden you walk out the door and you're in your backyard, you know, like it's like a brain warp to do that much work at home. So I mean,
did you have a pretty costly build up, or you already were?
I already had most of the stuff,
Yeah.
like from just doing social content and other stuff. So it was kind of weird when this happened. People were like, "You basically kind of like knew this was coming."
Yeah.
I really didn't, but it's like anybody that has a trade, like they probably have some tools at home, right? Like, so none of the equipment stuff was too far out of reach, but
it's kind of like me. Like I can probably do a haircut with what I have at home.
exactly.
It's not my norm, but I have enough there to do most haircuts.
And you have the right stuff, right?
Yeah,
So,
the right stuff,
but I should tell you too. I don't know. Last July, I cut my son's hair.
Oh yeah.
I never cut anybody's hair. I put the 8 guard on him and just went to town, and
love it.
It actually
not bad.
Well, the problem is, if he was a lot more patient, I could have faded him up a little bit better. I could have went, like maybe 6 on the side, 8 on top.
Exactly right. Give some kind of like growth shape to it.
And it's funny because I feel like watching my hair get cut for whatever, especially the last like 30 years, paying attention. I could probably trust me, I would do a bad job. But, but I could understand a few things, right? Like, but my wife, she was kind of nervous about doing it because you just don't see it. I mean, you don't see clippers a lot, right?
Yeah,
like she didn't want to cut them. I'm like, you put the guard on, you're not cutting anybody.
Last one.
You'll be fine.
This is kind of like the realm of what if you want to go
that looks
longer.
too nice on top.
I know. Yeah.
You know it's a trip. I could feel like fresh air on my head.
Air just got
Oh. Dude, I had like dry scalp a couple months ago.
Oh yeah.
It's just the hair.
How often are you washing it?
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Nobody told me you weren't supposed to wash it every day.
Yeah. Then you get dry and you're stripping all those oils.
My wife was like, you probably need some like.
Tell me now.
I got some like cranberry apple stuff to soften it a little bit, but.
Oh, cool.
Man, it was.
I've seen a lot of people just do coconut oil.
Yeah.
It's really greasy. So people would do coconut oil for like a half hour.
Yeah.
Before they go to shower. And
let
then shower it out.
Let it sit.
And let it sit because if you put coconut oil, I mean, it's going to be on your head, it's going to be on your hands.
That was the thing. I was like, I didn't want anything that was going to be drippy or.
Oh yeah, it's definitely.
My skin itself will get. I knew it would get irritated. So, like on my face or whatever.
Yeah.
So, dude, experimenting with stuff that I never thought.
Using the white stuff with shampoo, that's what I do. Like, she'll go get some new shampoo, the newest and truest, and then she'll get rid of it, and then she'll like not use it anymore, and it's not mine, you know?
It's a trip. When I've grown the beard out for like hockey playoffs, people have always talked about gets itchy. And one thing I tried, I don't know, 10 years ago maybe, was putting some conditioner on, on those beard hairs.
Yeah.
And it actually like softens it up for a day or two, and makes it totally different.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I never realized when you put it on your like long hair, what a difference it makes.
Yeah,
Man, it feels so much softer. Doesn't tangle.
Yeah, detangler's a trip to me, man.
Oh,
detangler.
Oh.
My wife has real thick hair, and we'll do a spray, but she also has a brush.
Yeah.
That kind of makes more sense to me because they're kind of off staggered. So they take the hair, they kind of go like this as you're combing it down. It has movement. Yeah. It's crazy what detanglers do, though. It's such an important thing.
I got it. I probably in December, I invested in the most expensive brush I've ever bought, for like $25, right?
Yeah.
But still, I'm like, I need something to like deal with this.
Yeah.
It just got out of hand.
Yeah, totally. Tools, man. Tools, everything, huh?
Yeah. Well, now I don't know what I'll do with it.
Yeah. You got time capsule thing, man. I'm telling you. You got time capsule. You put your mask in there when we're all done.
Oh yeah, man. There's enough videos and evidence of how that looks. That was a one-time phenomenon in life. I will not be going back to that anytime soon.
That's funny.
It was that, time capsule. That's definitely what it is.
Yeah.
So you guys, I know you're busy in 2 spots, right?
Yeah,
And you guys opened up Pleasant Hill.
So Pleasant Hill was about 6 months before the pandemic.
Right.
And it didn't really catch any legs yet. Not too much,
Yeah.
Had some pretty good barbers in there, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sheldon, Roger, Jamin, and Adam. All pretty seasoned veteran barbers,
Yeah.
Pandemic hit harder and harder and harder, and then to be quite honest, you got different takes on life,
Yeah, right.
takes on things and all that, right? So everybody has to make the right decision for them and their family,
right?
And that's where we ended up at, So pandemic hit. We kind of kept it underground for a while, and then went to a garage.
Yeah.
And we did everything safe, the mask, the open door. But we stayed fairly busy, and we just paid the rent, To be honest with you, it's just rent after rent, and thankfully, if you set your business up right, the overhead's low, and it was a little hurtful to Sheldon because he had to cough up an extra, couple grand a month without taking anything home, but business, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm saying pretty confidently, seeing what you guys do in the long term, I think it'll find a way to pay itself off. That's hard. That's a hard thing to say because it relies on hope. But it also relies on trust of, like things that are good are gonna be fine. I hate to see things fail in any of this. But to your point, you guys were set up well, and some things are not set up well to the point where, literally, by first week of April last year, they were firing people. It's like, how are you going to tell people to save up and be responsible? And then companies were like,
lock it up.
We're in trouble. Bye, everybody.
So that was tough. It was really hard. And everybody, the hardest thing was to navigate everybody on different takes of this.
Right.
Some are far left, far right. Some are like, I don't care. I just want to make money.
You know what's funny? Everybody needs haircuts. But everybody's got different viewpoints. And
one thing I took too is like I like to look at doing hair a little deeper. For me, I worked at Ace Hardware for a bunch of years, and they had a really good slogan. They said, we're in the business of customer service. We just happen to sell hardware. Right? I love that, because the basis is really truly people, right? We just happen to be selling you hardware in this case, And so here, I like to try to say, we're in the business of relationships. We just happen to be creating one and growing one as we cut hair, right? And so when you look at it like that and you treat it like that, and both sides go well, you're friends. I mean, I go to concerts with some of my clients. They check in on me. I check in on them. It's pretty amazing.
I don't see myself going anywhere else for a long while, actually. So,
you have a reference photo for the top? Shorter than this, right?
Yeah, I think so. Let's see here.
Because now we're at the bending point still. Where it still bends over, but we want it to pop up a little more, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I know the size you can go down.
Look at that. You know the way to explain it too. That's a trip, Yeah, just so it pretty much stays up. But also so I can style it a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I like to take it down in sections too.
That
work because then your hair is responding every time.
I just gotta. Oh, that feels so nice. Oh.
Um,
It's like losing. I mean, I don't want to like make this like a weight loss thing, but it feels like you feel like leaner or something, or you feel like what?
more aerodynamic, you know.
Or here's one. After you go to the bathroom, and you're like, oh,
10 pounds lighter.
I do. I feel lighter. Like that's what it's like.
It's so true though.
Oh, that's a trip.
Yeah.
My wife, you know, like again with her thick hair, she gets her hair cut a few inches off, maybe 2-3 inches off.
Yeah.
She just has relief, mad relief,
yeah.
just like, oh, I feel so much nicer. No headaches, not pulling hard on me.
Yeah.
Um,
See, headaches or something. I would imagine when you get like
Yeah.
you're saying longer hair, and it
Yeah.
really weighs down.
I think because so is like it pulls so hard from here, so this is not being pulled.
Right.
It's all from the gravitational pull. So your occipital bone right here, that's
Right.
pocket sticks out,
Right.
just pulled on, and that's all of it, you know. So she gets a tension headache all the time.
Even I definitely felt like like weighted down. You're right.
Yeah.
Like you were saying
Yeah.
before, like, and it was in the back area, just like
Yeah.
that. Such a trip.
Yeah.
All the projects at home. You've been doing some garden boxes. I know that's probably old now.
Yeah, you know what? I was working on those right when all of a sudden I had a bunch of free time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So then I finished those off. Put a bunch of dirt in there. We grew like tomatoes and stuff last year, and that was the experimental year to see like, does this work? Can we do this? Is this the right spot?
How do you do with rodents on that? Do you have?
Yeah,
rodents?
you know what? Those little boogers, they got us pretty bad on the tomatoes. But my wife found out that, especially with the tomatoes, you could actually pull them early, and they'll ripen off the vine.
Off the vine. So
Yeah.
you give 6 inches or whatever.
We were letting them, you know, like we were pulling them when they were turning red.
Okay.
But instead, if you pull those tomatoes when they're still a little bit green,
Yeah.
it doesn't affect it from ripening.
Gotcha,
Because we were leaving them red at first, and they were eating all of them.
They're getting right on. Yeah.
And I think it was mostly the tomatoes. We tried growing a watermelon.
Watermelon. Yeah. That's long. That takes a long time, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And only like one grew. But it's crazy. I'm like, how does this work? I mean, that's why farmers are farmers and we're idiots, right? But like, it's such a scientific thing that you have no control over what actually happens.
I mean, minus the soil, right? I mean, whatever point, right?
And watering it, and sun, and like environmental conditions and all that stuff. But yeah, but it was, you know, it's fun. Like the times that we're able to eat stuff that we grew, it's fun. Like
how much better is that? Like you go out back,
it's just cool.
you grab the
know?
watermelon, you crack it open for the kids.
It's cool. Yeah, it's.
You know, my sister-in-law, she had a garden in Portland. My wife, she was vegan before the pregnancy, you know.
Oh yeah.
And she'd go out there and they make their salad, you know.
Yeah.
They make their whatever, and she's like, it's amazing. You don't have to go nowhere. It's free, almost. You know, it feels free.
I would say this though, like going back to like primal times, if it was us relying on growing ourselves food to stay alive, we'd be dead.
Oh, for sure. And you have to really, you know, what's cool about gardening is that you have to think far out.
Yeah.
You aren't planting today to eat tomorrow.
No, you're right.
You're planting today to eat next year.
And also the spacing of it, what grows over what.
And they're probably going over a phase of like, hey, corn came out, you know, like we're doing corn and everything right now, you know. Or
you know what else is a trip? I didn't know there were male and female plants that needed to like cross-pollinate each other.
Yeah.
I think zucchinis are that way.
Yeah, I didn't realize it's cross-pollinate. That's crazy.
It's my wife is the lead gardener.
Yeah.
She does a lot of research and.
Well, how much sun you get.
Exactly.
And then you gotta go there and you're like, okay, now my front yard faces this way, so that's gonna be like this.
We had a side yard area that was just nothing going on over there.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of good to finish that area off by just, you know, building 2 planter boxes. They delivered all the wood. I obviously had to cut everything down to size. I mitered the corners and stuff, and it was more like anything, more work than I expected.
Yeah.
But once it was done, I was like, all right, I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out.
Well, it's like a lot of front work, and then it's just autopilot for the most part, you know.
Yeah, once you get it going.
Do you have like a drip system on that, or do you go out
You
there?
know, the next thing for us to do would be to put a water spigot. We don't have one on that side of the house.
Yeah.
So you literally have to fill up bucket by the hose, walk it, you know, about 70, 80 feet, water it, you know, over and over. So, yeah, eventually we'll get a hose close to the garden.
Yeah.
And then probably put it on a timer or something like that.
Yeah, that's what we do. We don't really have irrigation at the place we rent.
Yeah.
So we just have hoses, goes out to those little lines,
Yeah.
and we put a timer on the spigot.
Yeah.
And then the other side, we call it Mom's garden. For
Yeah.
Mom planted garden before she passed on us.
Oh.
And so we keep it going. I put a drip system, so I have a line come and just breaks off.
You don't waste any water that way because it just goes right. Yeah. Drip is, I think, so long as you plant it, know where you're going to plant stuff, the best for most
plug a
efficient.
hole sometimes, but they are kind of tough to work with,
Yeah.
You go quarter inch, and you got to space it. You got to start with half, 3/4, then the half, then the quarter to build the pressure up.
Luckily, there is some. I've had to repair some things and redo a few things. Luckily, it's not the toughest thing to figure out. Like, you can get it wrong, and you can also frustrate yourself with irrigation, but. Fortunately, it's pretty simple. Either water's coming out or it's not. It's and how much is coming out, So
absolutely.
You just always got to watch for a sprinkler head getting broken off, or even one of those drip emitters.
Yeah.
When they come off, that water is just shooting out of the feeder tube,
Sure.
But
it's like a backflow valve.
Yeah, for that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. Yeah, because otherwise the water that gets stuck in the pipe either comes back.
Exactly right.
And that's another thing. You got to keep those drip lines clean, because a small piece of dirt in there will just clog everything up down the line.
Yeah, totally. Ever was able to dodge the COVID?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, that's there's specific concerns us having a lot of family, locally. So I think that's a difference too, right? Some people are like, we're in our small little family and we don't have anybody else that's really, really high risk around. But I know a lot of people do. So but it's funny at work to have the conversation with people of when I'm seeing them again for the first time, did you get it? The same thing, or then did you get your shots? Where are you at on stuff? What's going on?
Yeah, I had done a belt on Monday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we shared. I won't share too much, but things happen.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. But things happen, and it's like you can give it away,
Yeah.
But it's always something that the stories I've heard people getting it has always been somebody was exposed, knew it, and neglected to, or was afraid to say something or whatever,
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing about this whole stigma,
It's a stigma.
It's like I call it the scarlet letter.
Yeah.
Vibe, right?
It's not. You could look for anybody that was probably irresponsible and at fault. There's probably 5 people who were doing all the right things.
Yep.
And this is unavoidable.
Yeah.
This is not. You're fighting against something that is kind of trying to get you.
Yeah. It's kind of inevitable, right? At some point, I knew people that were like, man, give it to me, let me get over it,
Yeah. Well,
the young people that have no fear, right?
I think that was honestly a mentality at first that a lot of people had until they realized that the problem is they'd be fine, but somebody else, and they'd be like the conduit,
Sure,
and I think that was the,
it's one thing to get it, it's another thing to get it and give it, right? That's where the line is drawn. That's where the mask get put back on, and you bring it back down to the world, and it's bigger than me. Right?
You and I fall into the age demographic of probably being pretty okay through anything of this, right? But I think to me, it was never about me. It was more about other people that I still wanted to and needed to see, and so the whole thing, man. It's just physical challenge, right, of staying healthy, but mental challenge of and to your point earlier, friends, different ideas. Everybody's got different opinions of what they heard, what you heard. It's hard, man. It tore a lot of people, I think, apart.
It did.
And then now everybody's seeing each other. There's some bridges to be rebuilt, I think.
What things have you seen that you can be cool with staying. Like bridge toll, you don't have to stop for bridge no more, right? You go across the bridge.
Oh, you mean like
you gotta stop. I know most people have fast track.
Oh, you mean like
I never had fast track, so like
oh, dude,
like you just blow by that thing.
But I've always been doing. I've always had fast track. Oh, because I hit that bridge a lot.
Yeah.
You know what? Like honestly, the showing up to work thing, and I don't mean for people to be lazy, but like if you're telling, and some people are way more productive. Way less distracted, and they're better at what they do, and it doesn't even have to be every day. But I really do feel, and think about how many cars you're taking off the road for you and I to get to work, or just for the environment, or noise, everything, parking spaces, it's so outdated. To be like, well, I need you to show up and sit in this desk and do this work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and go home. And it's like, you might get, your worker might be twice as productive on their own time in their own space. Yeah. And you know what, if it comes down to trust and you can't like trust them on their own, then maybe you hired the wrong person 100%. Or you're a bad boss of them. You know?
You're not managing them well enough. And that's the toughest thing about management. It's all custom from person to person, you know? You can have the best platform, but there's going to be your Jane and Johns that just don't tap with that, you know?
Yeah, it just, I would love to see more people at least have the option. I'm not saying force them in or force them out, but like, I think there is like a happy medium of hybrid where companies will get more, people will get more life back. I mean, think about like cutting 3 hours out of your week, which you'll see. You'll see how big those 3 hours are, man. Where you're like, I could do all my work, get it all done, and I get those, that time where I'm instantly back.
Yeah. You know, for this work stuff, I think we're gonna see a lot of changes. Offices not being needed.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing a lot of like with dashes and things like this going on.
Yeah.
Independent contractor. I think it's gonna be a pretty big role in the next 15 years.
You're saying like the delivery stuff?
No, just in general. Like people, I know small town butchers that are going co-op.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Change the script a little bit. Yeah. I think we're gonna change like the DNA of things. It's to the company's benefit. But everybody wants to have no boss,
Yeah.
Right? They want to be the man of their own for the most part, right? Like
it's just everybody, any company or business that was thinking about changing the way they do things, had like the ultimate free pass last year because like everything for most people, most everything got wiped out of how normal was, right? So it was the opportunity to rewrite some long-standing rules.
Yeah. How many businesses that closed down that you were frequent to? Not much, huh?
A couple restaurants, I would say mostly. You know what though? Like not a lot.
Yeah.
And
I feel like I saw more of the bigger spots.
Yeah.
I consider bigger.
Yeah.
The mom and pops closed.
Yeah.
And that tripped me out. But then I thought, you know what? When you got larger money,
it's not as big a deal. Yeah.
No, and you know what? It's probably worth it more to get rid of it. Go on to the next thing, put the money into this thing, and if the building's still there and the lease is still available, cool, we'll do it again.
I think a lot of things that were struggling already, that was their final chapter. But through the whole time, that biggest concern was like big companies were laying off people in massive amounts too, but small companies aren't coming back. Like big companies will be able to stay,
Also, I think we're going to see what I like to call the CPR effect, or CPR timeline, where we got back, we're back open, okay, we're back. It doesn't mean we won't suffer from being down and all those injuries and medical bills piling, whatever that is, right? Back bread, when you get back open, you might find out in a year, I might have to close down because I just couldn't catch up, right? So I'm curious if we're going to start seeing places still closed.
I have a lot of friends in the airline business, so that has been another, similar to what you guys have endured of, okay, you got through it, and now there's an expectation that a certain amount of people are going to travel again, and you're already seeing it, right? So that's good, but you don't really know the complete trajectory of actually where it's going to be by August, September, December, February, so it's all projections. Whereas every other year, you pretty much had a good idea, all right, this is how business is going to be.
It definitely halted some some choices, you know, even by us, you know.
Yeah. Well,
but-
choices. You're right. Like
Yeah.
what big decisions sometimes you have to make, and there's not the confidence behind them. To,
You know, we released some shirts when this first happened, and we had such great support. In 48 hours, we sold out of what we were able to package, you know?
Yeah,
like we had a limit on what we could package, you know?
Yeah.
And that, within 48 hours, paid both shop rents for that one. I think it was like May of last year.
In 48 hours.
48 hours paid both shop rents on the profit. And it was just a huge, overwhelming appreciation, you know?
That's
Because they sold out so quick, and we tapped it off. We could have sold more, but we said we don't know how shipping's going to go. It's our first time doing this, you know? But man, the support has been crazy, you know?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think you know when you're able to support some of those things that you knew are like you got to keep this going.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally, yeah.
It's important.
It is, yeah. I was able to get my hands on some at-home COVID tests.
Oh really?
Yeah, so they're 15-minute result, nasal swab.
How many times do you think you tested yourself or got tested?
So as a box 25, we probably have like 10 left, and that's between like, you know, oh man, I heard so and so. Let me go get a little relief real quick.
Right,
I'll schedule a test or whatever, right?
Right.
This before tests are so easy.
Right.
But let me get this done right now. So you tell me, you know, or you give them to people, you know, and they don't know. This again, the tests weren't.
Those were so hard to come by.
They're really hard to come by. Yeah.
And it was amazing that if we had that a lot earlier, we could have acted a lot differently, right? No, like it was fear of the unknown sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like if one person poops in the pool, like, the whole pool is getting shut down for a long time. But we had to get, still have to get tested to go to hockey games. I'm done with the season this year, but I don't know how many times I went, 3 or 4 or 5 times, and they were doing kind of the old school, the original testing where like it touches your brain.
Yeah, way up there. Yeah.
And a couple times, I think I got it about as far up as it could possibly go. I honestly felt like I had to grab my nose like it was bleeding at the end. It was like, it wasn't, but it felt like it.
Or it makes you sneeze.
Yeah.
You know, you're like,
and I would touch like my bridge of my nose later that night, like it's sore. Like it's actually sore.
And that was when they were doing it to you?
Yeah, that was them doing it.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of I guess it was a county or state mandated thing to go work in the arena. You had to get it done.
Gotcha, yeah.
But it was also like, I mean, this was way earlier on too. When things are raging, you feel a little bit different about how they are now versus how they are in better times, and it's just a little bit to your point, peace of mind to know that everybody who's in here today just took a quick test and we're all good, right? At least that's the indication, and that's the best you can do. It's nothing is 100% certain in life, but this is the best you can do for right now.
Yeah. When I had those tests, before I even took one or gave one to somebody, I started checking out doctors and sisters, client sisters, you know, and they're like, yeah, we know that one. He goes, about the best you can get. Your hands on. You know?
Yeah.
So, but they call it the sensitivity window, which is accuracy.
Right.
It's so large.
Right.
It was like literally 57 to like 94%.
Wow.
I'm like, that's okay. So I'm obviously should be looking for something else, right? They're
It's
like, no, that's not the best.
right.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay.
We're used to like 100% yes or 100% no,
right?
not pretty much. Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting, you know.
You know what else is crazy? I mean, and look, there is one thing I will say that in February 29th, I know the date because it was weird. We had a hockey game that I went down and covered, and we did our show outside. I was high-fiving fans and hugging people, and I mean in the tightest quarters you could get. And we knew it was around back then, but nobody took it as seriously. We just didn't. Nobody got it.
Yeah.
But the week after that, I had a raging headache. I was fatigued out of my mind. So, I don't know. This is more than a year ago at this point.
Yeah.
I very well could have.
I heard a lot of people say they thought it was a sinus infection.
Yeah.
Where they like, even with the taste, if you get a sinus infection, you get real dull taste.
And this was way before you even knew that was a symptom, right?
Yeah.
So, I bring that up. My wife's like, I don't think so. I'm like, I'm telling you, looking back and where I was and what I was doing and being around a ton of people and how I felt for like 3 or 4 days, it was not great.
Definitely something.
Well, so there was that, or there was also like several times last, spring or summer, you get into allergy season, where I'm like, I'm not feeling good, but I'm convinced I never had it then. But it's a trip because you're always. Yeah.
And he was saying how he got it, and he also thought it was like a sinus thing. And he's saying the symptoms is I'm out there doing yard work, with the headphones on. And he's like, yeah, man, it's COVID. So I got his test. I went, whoop, turn it off, put it aside. Wife's like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know, hold on.
But see that? Like,
okay.
it's crazy too because it's all everybody talked about and rightfully so because like our world's changed because of it.
Yep.
But like when it was the focal point, it would get you probably over concerned because you're like, wait a second, I do not feel great.
I do feel like that.
Yeah. But it's just what a mind like warp and mental drain everything has been.
The biggest hope is that this is, what the Spanish flu, like we don't know in reality, but like the textbooks say that it was around for a couple of years, right? The talk of it.
Right.
So we probably got another year or so talk about it.
So it's out of our
vocabulary for the most part.
I think the hard part about that, to your point too, is that being that it was in the early 1900s, like was it really documented well? Or like, what do we actually? We know body counts, unfortunately, and stuff, but we don't know like how people really treated it, or and clearly they didn't make a vaccine in like 6 months, back then. Way back in the day, I was working at Channel 2 in Oakland when 9/11 happened, and literally I was there that day and that night, and I got to tell you, it was, you knew instantly that your world was about to be changed for a long period. Like this was the start. This was not the end of something or the middle. This was the start of something. And somebody else had mentioned to me, they're like, you watch. What happened today will be in every single news program that we do for at least the next year. And it was probably like 3 years.
A couple years.
Just some lingering effect of either the devastation or what's next or investigation or finding people. It's just
finding people. That was crazy, huh?
It's just the whole thing was like just as you were getting over trauma and something that was unfortunately seen by everybody. But that, to the point being is like I think and I hope that in 2023, 22 maybe or 23 for sure, that we're just like, oh yeah, you remember that? Okay, that's all I need to say.
That's kind of where that CPR effect I think comes in. Where we start not only being done with it, but being done with like the little hiccups. They got the cancer gone. We got a couple checkups, and then now it's not been there for 6 years. Okay, cool. Like, it's like there's no better, unfortunately, better way to put it than it's like getting sick and getting healthy. It doesn't just happen overnight. It doesn't just go back to normal overnight either. Unless it's food poisoning, then it then it does go back to normal pretty fast. I thought I got that the other night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had a night, and then it was like so painful in my stomach that I started like getting lightheaded.
Yeah. It's a trip.
And then you get to the worry, like we're saying, like, oh man, I got something, like shit.
I can actually relate it to, I got my second shot, and I was affected. It did not make me feel good. It happened really fast.
Yep.
And I came on really fast overnight, and I sweated, and I was chill. I chilled everything over that night, and then next day I just felt like I drank way too much the night before, which it was just my body being overworked. But by that night I was back to 100% normal. But it was it came on and went away pretty quick, but definitely had that.
Which one did you get?
The Pfizer.
What are good things about that one?
Yeah, I mean,
just more consistent, like side effects,
Yeah, I think it's funny trying to pinpoint what everybody's reaction is and all that stuff. There's no common threads. There's no Oh, there it is.
Man.
might have to take a picture.
Oh, for sure. We'll keep it up, so that's all you. So.
Oh.
This is about as short as I feel like going right now.
Yeah, that
probably go a little tighter up top, but with the hair being
you know what, it's
long and pulled, it needs a few days of washings or so.
It's going to be a shock to the system already, so.
I still was able to maintain a good shape and kind of see what these hairs do. Especially back here, it's a little fuller because it's been pulled back. You know? So my next one will be good.
Oh, it's crazy, man. My hair has been altered for being so long.
God, that's so long.
I can see it a little bit on the phone over there.
Yeah. Here we go.
Oh, here we go. Oh, oh, it feels
You
nice.
think you look younger or older?
Older. Damn it. That's actually not.
I know, right? That's what we're going for.
I just hit 40, so I don't care.
I'm saying.
Oh, that's funny though.
When I go short, I always feel like I look older.
You know, when I gave my son that famous / infamous haircut, he looked older. It looks a lot older.
Yeah. They do. When she pulled those bangs up,
yes,
and it shows her eyes, and her face shape, you start seeing more. Yeah. They almost feel taller.
What's the youngest haircut that you guys do?
I think we do under a year sometimes.
Do you really?
Yeah. Sheldon had it for 6 months. It's more just it's usually just a demonetizing, you know.
And how do you deal with their lack of like patience? Or you just gotta get in quick.
You just get patient, man. You know, I'm a very patient man when it comes to kids because they got a lot going on. You know, they don't know there's noise back here. They don't know this. They don't know him. They don't know me. They don't know the sink. You know, they don't know nothing.
No,
right?
it's all.
So I'm very patient when they're looking around. I want them to absorb our surroundings, right?
Yeah.
But it does get tough. That's usually when the kids don't need a clipper around their ears, too short, too loud, it's too abrasive.
Right.
I'll just do sheer, you know, and just play with his hair a little bit, just get him used to it. Dad will be there. We always say, if possible, watch Dad get a haircut. You know.
I was thinking because we were talking about it, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know if they cut little guys' hair for your age.
They cut all ages. But I've had as early as about a year. I usually keep a bunch of plastic bags for the first nip.
Oh,
you know, because you outside, you forget, you know. So I get it's usually like a candy bag from the store down the road.
Right.
I throw a little first snip in there, and I give it to Mom, you know.
Yeah. Well, I'll let him know that he just got his grandma gave him one recently, but. Yeah, we were talking about that. I was like, someday you and I will go together and get a haircut. He was excited by that. So.
And that's cool. I even see Dad bring the kids in a few times, you know, but not get a haircut, just bring them in.
I was going to say, he should probably see it at least once first.
At least once, yeah. And then the next time he gets to see me, then he says hi, bitten to me a little easier. What's up?
He'd be curious too to just watch me get a haircut and all that goes on, you know.
How the Sharks looking this year?
Not good.
Yeah,
They had a rough start, and they couldn't play any games at home for the first 3 weeks. So they were literally living out of their suitcases for 40 days. Rough. Rocky the beginning and middle of the season, and then just lately the wheels kind of fell off a little bit. So,
and the A's really picked it up, huh?
They lost 6 straight, and we were doing shows like we have nothing. I don't know. I can't explain this. And then they won 13 straight, and I'm also like, I can't explain this. But
that's baseball, though, right?
They're pretty good. You know what? The Giants, honestly, they're neck and neck with wins for the A's. I did not see that coming at all.
That's a good start for Cap, right?
Absolutely.
Right?
I said this. And it's his first regular season, not 60 game sprint thing. And, I'll just say it's early for both of them, right? Where you can't get overexcited, but you can definitely be encouraged by where things are at and. It's like you build that at the beginning of the year where you know what you're capable of, people are bought in, right? And you like the group galvanizes.
Yeah.
At the beginning.
It's energy, you know.
It really is.
You get the energy going. You feel good. You play good. That's what we try to do is at the stadium. We like to try to say our motto is look good, feel good, play good. Right? That's like the most cheesiest, but it's so true, you know.
I
get my hair cut done. I'm like, I'm wearing my hair now. I'm dressing better. My wife's like, what are you doing?
This might be the best pregame show we have at 3:30 today. Yeah. Right? It is a trip.
Yeah.
But that's why, you know, especially ball players too, they take a lot of pride in literally the cleats they wear, the glove that they put on, the way they wear the jersey. It's, nothing is by accident.
For sure. So, yeah.
Routines. There it is.
On the back.
Wow. There's a lot of comments going on there.
I saw them all going on.
So quick little promotion here. Sharp Barbershop in Lafayette and in Pleasant Hill.
Pleasant Hill, yeah.
So like, here, move this up a little bit. We're too tall. Oh, here, there's the hair. There's the damage too, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's all his.
I'll take a picture of it later. But to the important stuff, you guys are back in business.
Yeah.
You do online reservations.
Yeah.
So yeah, the word speaks for itself.
So sharpbarbershop.com.
Yeah.
You can find both locations, Pleasant Hill and Lafayette. They're both within about 7 minutes of each other, so not terribly far away from each other.
Essentially local. I mean, like
essentially
literally,
local, yeah, off the freeway.
24, 680, Berkeley. Like this is such a quick drive. We're right off the freeway.
Yeah. If you're in Lafayette, the biggest thing we say is near the old Blockbuster. Right next to old Blockbuster.
You're reaching that. People are like, I still have DVDs for
right. I still got to return one. And then the Pleasant Hill shop is over by Michael's and Bed Bath & Beyond almost.
Right.
It's probably the biggest market.
Honestly, I can't tell you how excited I am to see EJ and everybody else here. This is just, this has been way too long coming.
It's good seeing you too.
Thanks everybody for watching, and I'm happy again. I'm really happy again.